I had a low-spec PC, and like many of you, I wanted to play Warzone. But let's be real, my PC wasn't ready for that kind of action. So I went searching for a good alternative. I didn't find much at first, but then I stumbled upon Combat Master. And I have to say, from the moment I installed it, I was hooked. The game was a hidden gem. The movement was so smooth, the weapons felt just right, and the way you could customize attachments. And the best part? The performance was out of this world. I cranked the settings to the max and still got over 120 FPS. I couldn't believe it. Everything was going well, too well. So, what made me and thousands of others leave this game? What killed Combat Master? At first, everything seemed perfect. I loved the fast gameplay, the gun mechanics, and the movement. But then it hit me. I realized something strange. The players I was taking down so easily, most of them weren't even real. Yeah, you heard me. Bots. Most of the lobbies were filled with AI. Here's the thing, Combat Master had such a low player base that most matches were filled with bots instead of actual people. Now, I'm not saying bots are all bad, but who wants to keep playing when every match feels like target practice? It wasn't just me. This was a deal breaker for a lot of players. After a while, the excitement started to fade. The gameplay, which felt fresh and fun at first, became repetitive. It didn't take long before the game started feeling, well, stale. The same maps, the same modes, the same guns. It was like being stuck in a loop. But what kept me hanging on were the promises. Alpha Bravo teased us with new features, new modes, and exciting updates that were coming soon. It gave me hope that the game would keep evolving and that something new was always just around the corner. But days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, and still, nothing. Every time I checked for updates, it was just disappointment after disappointment. What made it worse was seeing what the developers were focusing on, skins. It felt like they were more interested in making cool-looking outfits and flashy weapon skins than actually improving the game. Sure, the cosmetics were fun for a while, but that's not why we played Combat Master. We wanted fresh content, new maps, new game modes, something to keep the game alive. But instead, we were stuck with a game that looked great, but wasn't giving us anything new to play. It was like Alpha Bravo cared more about making money off the skins than delivering what the players really wanted. Sure, we got a couple of updates here and there, but what did we get? A bunch of new skins, a few tweaks to gameplay, and that was it. The promised new game modes, new maps, and features stayed in the coming soon section, even till this day. It felt like Alpha Bravo, the developers, were more interested in making a quick buck than fixing their game. When they finally dropped something big, the highly anticipated Battle Royale mode, I was beyond excited. I thought, this is it. This is the update that's going to bring me and a lot of other players back. I jumped in, expecting the same smooth gameplay I loved. But man, was I wrong. My medium-spec PC, which had been running the other game modes like a dream, giving me over 120 FPS on the highest settings, struggled hard with the Battle Royale mode. I had to lower every single setting to the absolute minimum, and even then, the game barely ran. I was stuck with a frustrating 40 FPS, and the experience was choppy and laggy. It was clear that they rushed this mode without putting in the time to properly optimize it. Going from smooth, fast-paced matches to a barely playable Battle Royale was a huge letdown. It felt like the heart of the game had been ripped out. The mode that was supposed to bring new life to Combat Master ended up doing the exact opposite. Suddenly, the game that had been a hidden gem for me and so many others became a mess of lag and frustration. That was the moment when Combat Master went from being one of my favorite go-to games to something I could barely stand playing anymore. But it wasn't just me. All the players felt the same. We were promised big things, but Combat Master never delivered. The lobby stayed empty, the updates stayed minor, and the coming soon features never came. It wasn't just the bots. It wasn't just the performance issues. It was the lack of care from the developers. Alpha Bravo had a great game on their hands, but instead of building on it, they let it die. They focused on making skins, on making money, instead of giving the players what they really wanted: new maps, new modes, new features. And that's how Combat Master, a game that had so much potential, ended up abandoned. It wasn't the graphics, it wasn't the movement, it wasn't even the shooting mechanics. It was the lack of updates, the lack of new content, and most of all, the lack of players. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again, a masterpiece killed by its own creators. So, what do you guys think? Could Combat Master have been saved, or was it doomed from the start? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming content.